All right, let's continue on to the back side. Number 5. There you go, another graphic. Oh, pretty similar to number 4, but there is no middle term. We're still going to answer the same questions, find the roots or x-intercepts or zeros, all the same thing, and then axis of symmetry, vertex, and the y-intercept. Okay. And of course, is it a min or max? And actually, the last two we can answer first. Let's just try this. Remember, the number always that's by itself on the end, that's the y-intercept. In this case, I know the y-intercept is pretty straightforward. It's -9. And since this is positive in the front here, I know it's going to open up towards the positive y's. So I know this. So that means the vertex is going to be at the bottom. That's a minimum. So these questions down at the bottom are not necessarily in the order in which you have to answer them. They're just general information all over. Okay, let's go ahead and graph this. Find the roots. So we want to know when does the x equal 0. So let's just set this equal to 0. We have to recognize that 9 is a nice number. It's a special number. It's 3 squared. It's a perfect square. And this is a difference here. So this will factor to x plus 3 and x minus 3. You can remember that. You always look for difference of squares. It will make the solving a lot easier. So we'll get two roots. X is 3, x is -3 by setting each one of these equal to 0 like we did in previous problems. So I'll have a x-intercept of -3 and +3. I can write those down here. 3, 0 and -3, 0. Now this one is slightly different since there's no middle term here. There's no b term. You'll see that when that happens, the axis of symmetry, which is in the middle of these two, is going to be 0. So on this particular problem, our axis of symmetry is right in the middle of -3 and 3, okay, which equals 0. And how far down? Well, if our axis of symmetry is 0, our y-intercept happens to be on the axis of symmetry. So it's going to be at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my vertex is also my y-intercept in this particular problem. So let's just draw a parabola. There we go. Oops. Should we keep on going outward just a little bit? There we go. Alright, my vertex, 0, -9, which happens to be my axis of symmetry and my y-intercept. This will happen right here, this special relationship where the y-intercept is also the vertex will happen whenever you have a difference of squares. Alright, so let's go on to the next. The x-intercepts, also the zeros, remember that's also called the roots. Different names for the same thing. Of the function are 5 and -1. So if we're graphing this parabola, they're at -1 here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right here. And which of the following could be a possible vertex? So what do we know about the vertex if we don't know the equation? The only thing we know for sure is that it has to be in the middle. It has to be in the middle of these two roots. So what's the middle of those two? -1 plus 5. It's the average. So 4 over 2. So my x must equal 2. So this question is indirectly asking which of these have an x up 2, and that would be here and here. So those are possible vertices, and the plural vertex is vertices. I don't know what they are because I don't know exactly because I don't have the equation. So I don't know if it's 2, -2 or 2, -4. but they do both start with 2, so those are possible. So those are both yes, and these would be both no. They do not have the 2. Okay, last one. You and your friend drive boats same lake. You take a curved path. Okay. Your friend drives a nice straight line. And you want to find out where they meet. And we'll probably have 2 locations where the paths would cross. Okay, so we want to figure those 2 locations out. So let's see where these 2 are equal. Okay, so intersection means equality. So if I want to know where 2 things intersect, mathematically you're saying I want to know where they're equal. So where are these 2 equal? And in this sense it's going to look much like number 2. Add 2 to both sides, subtract 2x on both sides, so I get it equal to 0, and we'll have x squared minus 5x, that also equals 0. So in order to factor this, I'm just going to do a GCF. We have x minus 5 equals 0. So x equals 0 and x minus 5 equals 0, so x equals 5. So those are my 2 x values, but we need the actual x comma y points. So let's plug each of these into here to figure out what y equals. So if I plug in 0 into here, y is going to be 2 times 0 minus 2, which just equals negative 2. So my first coordinate is 0 comma negative 2. My second one is when I plug in 5, 2 times 5 minus 2, and we get 8. So we have 5 comma 8. So those are the 2 coordinates where these will intersect. Okay, so I'll draw my graph a little more accurate. It probably look like this. So we intersected at 0 comma negative 2 right here, and at 5 comma 8. As you can see, my graph's not drawn to scale, but that's where it kind of looked like. Okay, so that's your review. Good luck. Do this review several times so you can do it on your own, and you'll be set for your quiz tomorrow.